Are you ready to get set up with Zoom conference software? I'm Andrew Sharp from Sharpteam Better by Design, where our goal is to make technology easy for people. My friend Ryan Evans asked me to put together a video on how to set up and use Zoom. Now, there's lots of different types of Zooms, so I'll cover a few of them. But before we get started, I wanted to share something I tell all of my clients I work with. Some of them are moms, some of them are dads, some of them are high-level CEOs. And I tell all of them, technology can be really easy because most of the time, it's just knowing what buttons to push. So take a deep breath, relax, and know you're going to do amazing. Okay, are you ready? I am. Let's go. You can skip ahead to the part in this video that relates to your type of device. Okay, we're going to install Zoom on an iPhone. What you'll want to do is navigate to the App Store. Most of you should be familiar with that. Once you open up the App Store, you'll want to go to search and go ahead and type in Zoom. You can hit search here, give it a minute, and once it loads up, this is what you're looking for, Zoom Cloud Meetings. Go ahead and click the Get button, and it will go ahead and it will prompt you to go ahead and install. So we want to go ahead and affirm that. Yep. It's a free app to install. So go ahead and just click through all the different prompts there. Then we're going to wait a minute and we'll watch it download. Okay. Now that this is finished downloading, you should see this open button. We're going to go ahead and click on the open, and that will actually launch the Zoom software. Now, if you have a meeting link, you can either click on that from your email or you can enter it manually. I'm going to go ahead and say join a meeting, which will bring up this information. Now, most of these meetings, they're 9-digit numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and punch in a meeting number that I have. Once you enter a proper meeting ID, this blue button will change color so that you can join. Before you join, you may want to enter your name here. This is the name that will actually show up when you join the meeting. I'm going to change it so it just says Andrew Sharp. Then go ahead and click join. It's going to then prompt me to ask if it can have access to things like my camera and my microphone. I would recommend going ahead and telling it, okay, you can have access to these things. This will allow you to participate in the meetings that you're part of. We'll go ahead and click OK. And then we can say join with video. You can always turn these settings off once you're in the meeting. Now we're in Zoom, and it's asking us if it can have access to the microphone. So go ahead and click OK. And it's asking if it wants to send us notifications. You can choose whether you want to allow it or not. I usually choose don't allow. And now once we're in the call, we have an option to either call in from our phone or go in over the internet. If you're not on a Wi-Fi connection, I would recommend calling in with a regular phone. And so you can go ahead and click the dial in button, and it'll give you some options of phone numbers to call. Here we have some phone numbers that we can call. You can just pick one of those and click the blue button and go ahead and click dial. Down the bottom it gives us a number. You want to go ahead and tap that number and it'll start calling that phone number for us. Now we're connected into the audio by our phone, and you'll need to toggle back to the video to be able to see the Zoom call itself. You can go ahead and close that screen. And here we are, and we're connected by video with our phone and by audio by our phone as well. We can also then switch back. For this purposes, I'm going to say call using internet audio, and that cancels the phone call. Now we're in there, and you can see that there's a host, also me, the wonders of the internet. We're going to try some things out here. You can click on the video button, and that hides our video. That's a great thing to do if you've got people behind you or some noises around you, that sort of thing. Anytime those menus go away, you can always click the buttons. In the top left-hand corner, if you want to toggle the audio of the actual call, if you wanted to mute it for some reason, you can just tap that. Down the bottom, you can also mute yourself on and off, clicking the microphone button. This is great if there's noise around you. There's some other options available to us. If you click the More button, it brings up this screen where you can give thumbs up or hand claps to people. You can also click on Chat, which gives us the ability to talk to people on the call. Things that are in here, you can send to everyone. You can click that, and it gives you an option to send specifically to people on the call. It shows that I'm the host, and I can send a message just to me. Typically, we leave this at everyone so that you can talk to all people on the call. It works just like text messaging. You can go ahead and hit done if you want to get out of that. Another option here is the more settings, and if you want to go in here and actually make your video look a little bit better, they've got a fun setting here called touch up my appearance. You can click that on and it'll actually smooth out your face, kind of like a filter on Instagram. Fun stuff. Finally, when you're ready to leave the meeting, you can hit the button in the top right hand corner and it'll prompt you if you want to leave the meeting. Go ahead and click leave meeting and you've exited and you're all done. We're going to install Zoom on an Apple computer now. What you want to do is go to zoom.us/download, and what it'll do is it'll bring you to the Zoom website, and you're looking for a Zoom client for meetings, and it will automatically detect that you're on a Mac computer. And so we'll go ahead and we'll click the download button, and it should see a file start to download. You may get a message if you're using Safari asking if you want to go ahead and download from zoom.us. We're going to go ahead and say allow, and we'll see that start downloading now. What we're going to do is go ahead and we're going to install it. You can either open your downloads folder, or if you have this over here, you can click on that. Either one will work. So we'll double click on the Zoom, and what it will do is it will pop open an installer. So we're going to check and see. And Zoom will now ask us a couple of questions, and so it's setting up access to different places. We're going to go ahead and simply say OK. And Zoom is now installed, and so we can go ahead and join a meeting. Additionally, Zoom is going to ask you if you can have access to your microphone. We want to go ahead and say OK so that we're able to talk on a call, so we'll hit OK. If you want to try out a test meeting, you can go to zoom.us/test. We'll go ahead and hit enter, and I can go ahead and click the join button, and we're going to go ahead and say allow that page to open, and it'll automatically start Zoom for me. And we'll give it a minute, and we're going to put in our name, and you can say remember my name for future meetings. That's fine to do. Go ahead and click join. It's going to look for access to your camera. This is so that you can be on the video call as well. You want to go ahead and say OK. It will ask if you want to have a video preview dialog. You can do this if you like, or if you just feel satisfied with it, you can uncheck it and it won't show you this each time. We're going to go ahead and say join with video. And it's going to go ahead and it's going to test some things for us. So the first thing we heard was the audio. Yes, I can hear it. That sounds great. Next, it tests our microphone, and we definitely heard that playback as well. So I'll hit yes. So it's now letting me know everything looks good. We can go ahead and join with computer audio, and we're in a Zoom meeting. A couple of things that we want to pay attention to. You can go ahead and click mute. And so if you're on a call and you click mute, it tells me I'm now muted, which means that even though I'm talking, if you were on the call with me, you wouldn't hear anything. This is important if you're on a call with a lot of people and you've got background noise. It's good to keep yourself muted unless you're talking. The other thing that you can do is you can stop showing your video if you want to. You can click that and it'll stop showing video. If you happen to have a lot of stuff going on behind you, or if you're deciding to do different things while on a call, sometimes it's a good idea to stop your video so that you're not a distraction to other people or the person talking. We'll go ahead and start the video back up. Other things that you can do, you can click on the chat right here, and chat will open up a window over here. Some things to note, if there were other people in this chat, you'd be able to click on everyone, and you could choose a specific person to send a message to. Otherwise, it's good just to leave this at everyone, and you can go ahead and type some messages in here. Hi everyone. And it goes kind of like a text message would to everybody, and you can interact back and forth. If you want to hide the chat, you can go ahead and click it again. Once you're all done with the call, you can go ahead and choose leave meeting, and you will exit out. Go ahead and confirm, yes, I want to leave the meeting. And you have successfully joined and exited a Zoom meeting. Now we're going to install Zoom on a PC computer. This is a Windows version, and so we have opened up Microsoft Internet Explorer. You want to go to zoom.us/download, and what it will do is it will load this page up, and it'll give you this download button, and it will actually recognize that you're on a PC and give you the proper file. So we're going to go ahead and click download, and we'll wait a minute while it downloads that file. It gives us this message and asks, what do you want to do with this Zoom installer? So we're going to go ahead and choose save. And we'll give it a minute, and it will go ahead and it will start downloading. The file is now downloaded. It's getting a normal Windows security scan. We can go ahead and say view downloads, and once this finishes scanning, then we'll go ahead and we'll open it. So you can double click on it to open it. And once you've clicked on it, it'll start to do the installation process. We're going to go ahead and follow this along. So you want to go ahead and say yes. It's safe for it to go ahead and make that. This is the normal question that it will ask you for your computer. Go ahead and say yes. And we're just going to wait as it does its processing and installing and putting everything on our computer that it needs to. And once it finishes installing, it'll give you this window, and you can go ahead and say join a meeting. If you have a meeting ID, you can go here and enter it and jump in. If you're just trying this out, you can actually go to zoom.us/test. And once you get to this page, there's a join button here, and this will actually set up a test meeting for you to join so you can get a feel for what it's like to use Zoom. Go ahead and click on join, and you can go ahead and say run. And this is where you can go ahead and enter your name. Oops, we're going to click in here. And this is how your name will show up inside of the call. So make sure you put the name in there that you want people to know you by, and you can leave this check so that it's remembered next time. Go ahead and say join the meeting. And there I am. It's going to go ahead and check and say, do you want to go ahead and join with video or join without video? If you join with video, people will be able to see you when you get on the call. So I would always recommend going ahead and choosing this. It's going to go ahead and then do some testing for you, and this is really important to make sure that all of your audio and all of your microphones work. So we're going to go ahead and say yes, I can hear that information. If you don't hear it, you have a little option here to choose these different options down here. These are all of the different audio settings on your computer. Typically the one that's set there is the one that you're currently using, and so it should work. We're going to go ahead and say yes, and we're going to go ahead and test the microphone. You can see down here that it's got the input level, and so yes, they can hear me. Fantastic. We're going to hit yes. And so everything looks good. We're going to go ahead and say join with computer audio. And you can check this off, and so next time it'll automatically join if that's the way you want to. If you want to be prompted each time, you can leave that option unchecked. So now you're inside of a Zoom call, and this is how it will look standard. Typically what happens when you join is there are other people as well that'll be on the call though, and so there'll be other faces that you can see. Things for you to know that are really important. There's a mute button here. You can click that. If we were on a call, you wouldn't be able to hear me talking. You would see me, but you wouldn't be able to hear me. If you're on a call with people and you have things going on in the background, it's important to mute the call so that you're not distracting to people talking or people are hearing strange noises and that sort of thing. You can also stop the video, so if somebody comes into the room or if you need to go and do something and you don't want to be a distraction to the person talking, you can go ahead and click stop video. And as you can see, it stops video. It leaves my name here, which is great. If I want to start the video, I can go ahead and click here again. Over here, you can choose chat. We'll click this option, and this gives us an opportunity to chat with people. You can type here. Options here are everyone, which is great. If I want to say hi, we can go ahead and say hi, and it works kind of like sending a text message. If there were other people in the group, we could choose this, and there would be other people's names here, and you could send a message to somebody specifically. For the most part, this is usually set to everyone. If you're sending messages though, and people aren't responding, double check and make sure that this option isn't set to somebody specific and that it's set to everyone. We can go ahead and hide the chat by clicking here, and that gives you a basic walkthrough of how to use Zoom for a conference call. We're going to go ahead and leave the meeting now, and you can go ahead and do this by clicking here, and it will ask you, do you really want to leave? We can go ahead and say yes, and we have left the meeting. That's how you use a Zoom meeting on a PC. Zoom on Chromebook. What you want to do is open up a new browser, and you got to go to zoom.us.download, and there's two ways that you can do it here. One, you have this Zoom client for meetings, and you can click download, and it'll open up the Chrome Web Store. The other option is to come down here where it says Zoom extension for browsers and click get from Chrome Web Store. When you click on those, it'll open up this window here, and you can click on add to Chrome. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And it'll ask me if I want to go ahead and install Zoom. These are the different things it can do. These are all safe for your Chromebook to do, so go ahead and say add app. And depending on the type of Chromebook you have, there's different ways that this happens. Sometimes it'll download something over here, sometimes over here, but here we go. It's going to go ahead and add Zoom here in my case. Sometimes what you'll see in the Chrome Web Store is it just changes and this says launch app. So you can either have it here and click Zoom there, or you can click here and launch the app here. And this is what it looks like. Again, if you come over here and you head to zoom.us.test, you can go ahead and you can click this meeting and join. And you can put your screen name in, This is how people will be able to tell who you are on the call. You can also choose if you don't want to connect to your audio or you want to turn off your video, and you can set those by default when you turn on. You can also turn them on when you get in. I'm going to go ahead and leave them so that they're connected. And I'm going to say join. And it gives me a little bit of a video preview here. And if I like how it looks, I can go ahead and say join with video, or I can say join without video. And now we're in the Zoom call. So some things that you want to be aware of that are straightforward. In a Zoom call, you've got a couple of controls. One of them is this mute button right here. If I'm in a call and I click on this mute button, nobody will be able to hear me. And so that's actually a helpful thing, especially if there's a main person talking. It's great practice just to mute yourself so that there's not noise behind you. If there's a TV on, cars driving by, if somebody happens to walk in the room or something like that, it doesn't become distracting. The other thing you can do is choose stop video. And so if you happen to have to get up and leave, if you're going to be doing other tasks while you're on a call, it can be distracting to other people and to the person talking. So it's a good practice to just go ahead and say stop video. If you're going to be there and be present, easy enough to turn that video back on just by clicking the button again. Other things that will be really helpful for you to know about is this chat functionality. So I'm going to go ahead and click the chat, and it pops open this other window over here. And if there were other people on the call, if I clicked here, it would list out every single person who's on the call, and I could select their name, and I could send a message, and it would go just to that person. Now, everything filters into this one chat screen, so even though I send it to that person, it'll get mixed in with all the other messages that are coming through. In general, I think for the most part, people just leave this to everyone, so we can go ahead, we can say hi, and it just sends a message there. It's a great way to communicate on a chat, and sometimes the person talking will ask for questions or feedback, and that's where you would put it. If you want to go ahead and hide the chat, you go ahead and click this button, and the chat screen goes away. When you decide that you want to leave the meeting, or when the meeting ends, either the person who's hosting the call will end it, and this will shut down for you, or if you wanted to leave yourself, you can go ahead and click Leave Meeting, and it will simply ask you, do you want to leave the meeting? And we can go ahead and do that, and we're out of the meeting. If you wanted to rejoin, you can go ahead and say join a meeting, and you'd put the information back in again. That's how you use Zoom on a Chromebook.